When I was browsing Metacritic a ways back, I discovered a game called Mugen Souls. Unfortunately, at the same time, my boss peeked over my shoulder and thought I was looking at explicit content. While I tried to explain to him that the girls were totally of an appropriate age, and that I was merely appreciating the art, the damage had been done. He told me to clear out my desk by the end of the day. Well, since I was getting paid for the full day anyways, I decided to keep scrolling through Metacritic. And that's when I found this game called Torrent. For all intents and purposes, Torrent is a bland, forgettable $5 DSiWare shoot-'em-up. The AV Club even went so far as to give it a 2.5 out of 10 and say, there are hundreds, if not thousands of shmups you can play for free on the internet. Practically all of them are better than Torrent. But if you look closer, something really strange occurred. There's nearly 1,400 user ratings on Metacritic, with all but 51 of them being positive. This puts Torrent at an average user score of 9.6, placing it number 2 overall in the DS category, just behind Ghost Trick Phantom Detective and ahead of literally every other game on the system. Diving even further, Torrent is the 8th highest user rated game of all time on Metacritic, sandwiched between Vanquish and Resident Evil for GameCube. Looking at the list, there's several games with rough critic scores to go along with the insanely high user scores, so clearly something is afoot. I searched online but couldn't really find anything. It's published by Nintendo, and I think it was given away on Club Nintendo or something at some point, but it only has one level, it can be beaten in 15 minutes, and it's nothing special. So even if it was free, how did more than 1,300 people agree that it deserves a 10 out of 10? To investigate, I did the only thing that makes sense. I started taking up yoga in an attempt to become flexible enough to put my foot in my mouth. Afterwards, I bought Torrent and played it. There's 2 difficulties to choose from, easy and insane. I went with easy first, and that is an apt description. I probably could have just stayed in one spot and fired for the full 15 minutes and won. Enemies go down easily, and I think that thing on the bottom screen is your health meter, which goes down if you use a special attack but recharges when you collect cubes. In terms of gameplay, it's fine. Controlling the ship is easy, especially on 3DS, and shooting feels good, though I did experience a decent amount of slowdown in the back half of the 8 phases. I'm also not entirely sure how damage against your ship is calculated. I could seemingly take a million hits and be okay, but then my ship would prematurely ejaculate some explosive ectoplasm and the meter would go down slightly. Regardless, it was an okay 15 minutes, which is also the name of my sex tape. It was nothing special though, so I queued up Insane, thinking it would reveal something amazing underneath, like when you take off someone else's socks. This time around, the blaster is narrower and you have a laser instead of a pulse weapon. Insane definitely lives up to its name. It's far more difficult, you aren't as powerful, and getting hit means you're just done. No matter how many times I tried, I never made it past phase 3 of 8, though some part of that is due to the fact that I still had no clear idea how damage worked. Even with me failing time after time, there wasn't some itch in my brain that made me press forward or anything though. I was just done with the game, it wasn't worth playing anymore. It's so weird to me that Torrent goes from painfully easy to painfully hard. There's no normal mode in between the two. Sure, you can try to set new high scores, and there were online leaderboards before the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection shut down, but I'm at a complete loss here. Is this just some conspiracy where Nintendo paid bots to create Metacritic accounts? Torrent is literally just a decent 15-minute shoot-'em-up. There's nothing special about it. It's not like your 3DS will suddenly grow lips so you can practice kissing or anything. It's just a video game. A video game that's probably a 5 out of 10 on a good day, with 8 short phases, 3 boss fights that are just repeats of the one before it, and a difficulty spike that will have you deleting the game from your system after 30 minutes. I don't get it. If I bug my wife about the absurdity of this any further, she'll leave me again. So I pass this off to you. Was there some sort of internet movement several years ago to make Torrent seem really good? Like what the internet did with The Leftovers? If so, let me know in the comments.